Welcome back, guys. Today I'll be showing you how you can make a ton of coins on EA Coins with nothing. So if you're new around here and you need a team like mine, but you're starting from pretty low, don't worry, we've got you covered. So make sure to subscribe. We're giving away 9 copies of EAFC or sets of FIFA points. All you've got to do is sub and send proof over on Instagram. And as usual, guys, if you want a little bit of extra help getting your coins, well, if you guys are fed up of coming against nicks like me and foot champs who use loans and OP cards from day one,
I'm getting really sick of you! Get out now!
Then you need to head over to mitchcactus.com, where not only can you buy the cheapest and most reliable FIFA coins on the EA market, you'll find over 10,000 reviews from people who have used the services and enjoyed them in the past. So make sure to head over to mitchcactus.com and use code RECALL for 5% off. Now, first of all, there's a few things you want to be doing every single day if you don't have many coins, just to get that extra little boost. Firstly, going over to your classic pack, of course, opening your preview pack. Now, of course, what we're going to look at here is probably going to be trash. We've got a striker from France, RCL. I know immediately it's probably not worth a lot of coins. So let's have a look inside the pack. Is there anything else in there? It doesn't look like we've got a lot. If we have a look and compare price some of these, is there anyone who's worth a little bit more, maybe based on an Evo or anything like that? He probably would be really good if he gets in an Evo. Let's have a look. Not worth anything. Now, don't worry, not every preview pack is going to be worth a lot, but it's always worth doing them just in case. I've actually had quite a few winners recently, and there is one thing: if you manage to get one for 6,000 coins returned, so you're going to make a decent bit back, it's always worth buying because you never know what's going to be behind the next one. Now, something I advise almost every single video for any budget, but especially when you're on a lower end, is going over to your icon section and completing the first 2 SBCs. So what you get for them is 3 common gold players packs, and then you get a silvers pack as well. Now, of course, this only gives you 3 common gold players for doing this one, but the one on the left here, you get a silver pack as well. Now, yesterday, I actually managed to get Alessandrini out of that silver pack, which of course is a 10k return from one of the cheapest SBCs you can possibly do. Now, of course, when we do the common players, we're realistically, once again, looking for something that's going to go into an Evo. Now, you can see here, none of these guys are really going to fit the bill, so we're going to send them to club and we're going to use them for future SBCs. Now, because this video is for those of you with a lower budget, we're going to have a look at the few things we can do on a lower budget. Of course, I'm going to give you some filters and give you some ideas, but I'm also going to set you up for the future. Now, first of all, something I've been talking about a lot this year is that you can go over to managers and pretty much go through quite a lot of nations. At, France, you're not going to find a lot because it's very difficult to snipe their managers. Brazil, anything 4.5k and under, you're absolutely laughing. If you're on the very, very low end of things, England, Netherlands, Germany and Portugal are all nations that you can do sniping on with their managers to make a decent bit of coins, and of course bidding as well. And that'll always get you set up on the absolute lower end. And the other things you can do, of course, is take yourself over to any of the top 5 leagues, and what you want to do is go to their bigger clubs. So for example, League 1, it's PSG. We want to go silver rares and we want to have a look at what there's there. Now, I think that the likelihood is French is probably going to be the route that gets us the most coins over at PSG. As you can see, you've already got Zara Emery there, who goes for looking like about 3,000 coins. We've got a goalkeeper here who probably brings down the value, and then you've got Kazawa. Now, having a look at the price here, let's see what we can do for around the 750 mark. So here, it seems like the centre mid kind of comes out of the picture. You're looking at nothing below that 750 mark, as you can see. And of course, we've got a few here of Kazawa and the keeper. Now, realistically, if we pop on a sniping filter and sit at 650, we will get a Kazawa or that keeper at some stage and be able to sell them on for around 800 coins. Now, this will take a little bit longer because we're sat on a silver filter rather than a gold filter. It means less people are simply going to be packing the cards. What we can do instead, however, is reset those filters and pop this over to, let's say, 550 coins. Now, what that does mean is the likelihood is there's not going to be many. As you can see, we've only got a few cards, but we can bid on every single card that comes up because we know that whatever it is, we're going to get profit. Now, I would suggest actually bidding all of these to 550 regardless if you have the coins to do so. That one's a little bit too much already. We're going to bid this one to 550, and we're going to do the same for this last one here. Now, we've bidded every single one of them, so of course we just move on to the next filter, and we're going to try the same concept at Inter Milan. So having a look here, we've got Adli, we've got Mirante. It doesn't look like there's many other players. Is it just the 2 of them? We've also actually got Musa here as well. So we do have 2 outfield players, and then of course we've got the keeper. Now, the outfield players, I believe, are both midfielders, which makes this a little bit easier. We can remove the keeper, but let's see how cheap the keeper is first of all before we do that. So it looks like at 850 we can find Adli and Mirante. So actually it's probably worth having both of those in the filter for now. Now, of course, once again, we can do this by sniping. So of course, compare price is going to be the easiest route. when you're looking at silvers, because you've got the best chance of them coming up faster. You can get the snipe, and realistically with compare price on these, you are much less likely to have competition. It's going to be a lot easier for you to just buy that card when it comes up. You probably don't need to be that fast because we're looking at silver cards. Not many people are actually looking at these. But of course, if you snipe for a while and you don't get anywhere, we can once again go for that 550. It seems is a pretty set route for both of these. We'll pop this up to 450 on every single card. We want to get that just baseline of bidding popped in. Now, I don't think we're going to win every single card here. I think on this one, we'll probably win a little bit more because it's a little bit less common for people to be going for than the League One. But the reality is any of these that we get are guaranteed profit because you can see how much these are going for on the market. Now, Musa there does obviously go for a little bit more, so it's unlikely we're going to win him, but it's worth a bid anyway. You can take this same concept over to the Premier League, and with Chelsea, you're going to find the likes of Sarr, you got Petrovic, you got Lavia, you got Colwill, you got Ugochukwu, which I apologize, I've butchered the name there. We've got quite a few, and that's obviously just with the price cap as well. So if we take that off, have a look again, you've got some more players. We can do this one, I believe, by, I think options wise, you're probably looking at English as an option and French as well. So really easy on the lower end to make those coins. Now, the next step is always going to be going over to maybe an 84 or an 85 filter. Easiest ones in the Prem right now. If you head over to Premier League, you want to go firstly Arsenal and Brazil. Really, really simple because Arsenal just have a ton of Brazilian players. So there's two options. You can just do Arsenal and Brazil. You can have Gabriel, you can have Jesus, and you can have Martinelli. Now, Martinelli and Jesus are worth a little bit more than Gabriel outside of SBC rises, but during an SBC rise, they all come pretty close. So you can just snipe them all together right now. Similarly, if we take this over to Man City and go for English, you're going to be left with a pretty easy English filter. Of course, we've got the likes of Grealish. You do have Walker on there who's just not going to show up, but we've got Grealish, Foden and Stone. So all of these really easily snipeable at the same filter. Of course, Walker levels above. Now, the easiest thing to get into once you've made a little bit of coins is base heroes, the special cards that honestly really are on the cheaper end of things for the most part. Now, of course, you can have a look at informs, and informs can be really cheap as well. The issue with informs is they're just not going to sell on because a lot of those informs are absolutely dirt cheap because they have no value to them. So here you're going to find yourselves at about 14,000 coins with the base heroes. Now, what you can do is knock this up slightly by moving to different leagues. So as you can see by Premier League, we're slightly higher in that kind of 15k mark rather than the 13k you have with the likes of Ricken and Donovan. So if we go to that 16k mark, we can see Canu there in two instances. Let's just have a look who else we've got. It looks like 17k is pretty much the baseline, but there's a few underneath. So 16k actually is where you'll find the lowest of the low in terms of pricing. So we can see here we've got a few 15,500s. I would actually say sniping at 15 on this one is the easiest thing to do. The EA tax at 16k is going to be 800 coins, but a lot of these cards are going to sell for more than 16k. So we can do 15,250, try sell at 16,250. We can even try and sell for 16,500 and 17 dependent on who we get. Of course, Canu, you saw there, is the cheapest one on the filter, but we do have the likes of Cahill who go for a little bit more. You've got Crouch as well. These guys do go for a decent bit more, which means we should be able to be getting a little bit more profit out of them. Now, of course, you can actually use heroes to advance your way through pricing. Of course, we start off on the lower end, as you can see with the 15Ks. If you get yourself maybe a decent bit of profit there, of course, we need to get that first. You can very swiftly move over from the Premier League to just goalkeepers. Now, when you go over to goalkeepers, what you're going to find is the base level is a little bit higher. We're looking at around 45k, maybe even 50k for our first instances of Dudek, as you can see. And you're going to find Campos very, very soon after. So he's not miles away, which means you can, of course, use him as well. Now, looking at 51, that kind of seems to be where we start with our Dudek. So 52 probably is the easiest point to sell him. EA tax on this is going to be 10%, which is roughly 2.5k. If we bring it down to 48.5, we're making around 1,000 to 1,500 coins per card. Now, no, these are not going to come up instantly or easily, and they are going to take a little bit of time. But it's definitely worth putting your time into these filters, because when heroes are being listed, a lot of them, because they are underwhelming, you know, you pack a big hero and all of a sudden you've actually made like 1,000 coins rather than, you know, what you'd maybe have thought. And I say 1,000 coins, it's usually like 40 to 50k, but when you do pack a underwhelming hero, you're more likely to mislist it because you're probably pretty frustrated with the crappy pack you've got. Now, of course, some of our bids have already been outdone. You can see here, people have bought these now for 750, 1,000 and the likes. But we're not going to waver. We're still going to bid the way to the win. And you can bid on all of these gradually. And you can check the prices as you go to make sure you win those. Now, it's just hit 6 o'clock and a few bits of content have come out. So I'm going to run you through how you can use content to make profit. Of course, we've got the Centurion's crafting. We've got a few upgrades here already. But we're going to go over to, if we can find it, the challenge section where you've got UEFA marquee matchups. Now, right now, you've got Milan and Paris Saint-Germain are both going to be needed for this SBC. So first of all, the first thing you want to do is go and have a look at Milan and PSG players in your club. So firstly, we're going to go to Serie A. We're going to see if we've got any Milan players and we're going to search there. So anything I've got that's tradable right now, it's worth getting sold because these guys are going to be worth more than they usually are. So you can see here already Loftus-Cheek worth a little bit there. So we're going to pop him up for, I'd say what 2K is probably a fair one. And then we've just got to hope that he sells pretty quickly. You can see here, not a lot of what I've got is ever going to be tradable because I do put everything into SBCs. We'll see what the price is. I know I probably should check first, but I know those guys are going to sell pretty quickly. Similarly, we're going to go over to League One and do the same. See if I've got any PSG players that are tradable. If we have a look here, you've got nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, and nothing there. So that's a little bit of an out on my part, but that's 2 new SBC filters that you can use really easily. Milan and PSG players will shoot up temporarily and over the next few days. So make sure to use them and make sure to complete the UEFA marquee matchups as well because that is a very good coin builder. Now, if you're new around here and you've enjoyed the video, drop a like down below and of course subscribe and I'll see you guys tomorrow.